And last but not least, I played Shadows of Doubt, which is by far the most impressive game I played through this demo process.
Not Shadow
Shadows
of
of
a Doubt.
no, Shadows of Doubt.
Okay.
Shadows of Doubt is a procedurally generated murder mystery immersive sim experience. AKA, when you start Shadows of Doubt, it will generate a lo-fi like 1997 looking like cyberpunk dystopic city complete with office buildings, residential districts, etc. You'll then get a note underneath your door saying investigate so and so, at which point you will discover a murder. So in order to do this, I had to wake up out of bed, go get the note. Then I had to go to the city directory in order to find where this person lived. Then I had to get my lockpicks out, go down to their apartment, find where their apartment is, go up to their apartment while avoiding suspicion. Then I had to avoid the camera, figure out how to get into their house. Their house had a key underneath their welcome mat, but I could have picked it or gone through the vents. Went back in to went back into their apartment, found the body, took their fingerprints, scanned the room for fingerprints, redialed their phone in order to figure out who called them and at what time, scoped out their house, discovered the safe, discovered the missing contents of the safe. Then, as I'm trying to examine the area, the cops show up because I tripped the silent alarm upon entering. I run back up to the door, lock the door, delay the cops, turn all the lights off, try and figure out a way out. Manage to pull a chair out from his living room, stack the chair, get up to the vents, climb out through the vents, end up dropping out through the vents into a different person's apartment, try and sneak out of their apartment without waking them up, leave the building, then go over my notes, which are put on a real in-game corkboard, which you control and
I
decide the different pieces.
I see
Figure out,
that.
oh, I got his work ID. Oh, I could go down there. Oh, I figured out that he has a receipt from this bar. I could go down there, and then I could go down there, ask for clues, ask for people, go check out his work, etc. At this point, I had been streaming it for about 40 minutes, and my head was going to explode, so I had to call it a night. It's the coolest fucking thing ever. I remember seeing on Twitter Dave Oshry was talking about how he had accidentally like climbed in the God. He had gone through the trash in someone's house and got the smelly debuff. So then he had to go and shower, which gave him the wetness debuff. At which point he had to find a towel to dry himself off, or else walk around with the wetness debuff. He also said I think they
Yeah.
were canceling all their games because Shadows of Doubt was too dank.
Like I'm
Um,
just watching the like screen of people moving the Pepe Silvia corkboard photos around and lining things up, drawing connections and putting notes on each picture, and
Most of that is
that
manual. Most of
that
that is like player controlled and
that
just I'm
looks
gonna put a cork.
wildly fucking complicated.
It's so much. And the idea that it's a procedural generated like murder mystery. I saw people describing that if they started the game and sprinted to the fucking a murder scene fast enough, they could run into the killer leaving the apartment. And
Interesting.
that events in the game are not timed; they just proceed as normal. So, like people or suspects or events will be in different periods, places, etc., based on their natural progression of the game's in-game simulation. At the end of it, I went down to the PD and I got I don't know what to call it. I got the form for private detectives in terms of like solving murders, and they were 5 questions. I don't know if I can remember them all, but they were like, what was the cause of death? Did you find the murder weapon? Did you discover the murderer? Did you arrest the murderer? And any evidence forthwith that you would then fill out from a chart of available clues that you had acquired over the course of the time that you had been doing it.
Yeah,
Crazy.
and also
Crazy.
this aesthetic is like Papers, Please style, old PC sprites, but obviously in 3D, and then with lighting applied to them.
It looks gorgeous. Like one
Huh.
of the items I picked up was like a fucking newspaper, and the newspaper's job is to either read recent events in the world that could give you clues, or you could sit down and use it to avoid pursuers because you're covered mostly by the newspaper.
Oh god, these
Like,
fucking Minecraft ass people and weapons.
yeah, one of the
Interesting.
things that I noticed is that when I walked up to a person on the street and I spoke to them, there was like a massive list of potential questions, all of which went nowhere because it was
Hmm.
all people in the wrong building. I was asking people in my own building, do you know who Craig Robinson is? Which, yeah, they don't fucking know. But ostensibly, I would be able to do that in his building and be able to get clues. Crazy fucking game. Crazy game. Shadows of Doubt. They have extended that game's demo for another week. So that game will be able to be playable like for I think until I think the 16th. So I would advise everybody to check out Shadows of Doubt. That game is so fucking cool.
I really hope with like that type of in-depth like complexity that the procedural sandbox nature of it doesn't like uh handicap any sort of like I guess narrative stakes if they want to have like a, you know, like a story mode to follow or something to that effect. It's like because you know
This is
you know the difference between like the Hitman missions that are like the generated ones versus like the mainline ones where there's more where there's a lot of more scripted and elaborate things going on. Yeah, like you don't want to just feel like you're always on the procedural Hitman missions, right?
yeah, in this really feels like the narrative is in the doing. Like the narrative is the natural like path to solving it and the way that you decided to go about it rather than anything designed. It's like it remains to be seen. Like the demo has a 90-minute timer when you start the case, which to me says a lot about
Mm.
how long they expect you to spend on any particular case. But yeah, the coolest. It's the fucking coolest. I just saw somebody in the chat say Doubt Fortress. I kind of get it. Just just throw a million goddamn factors at it and see if you can actually do it. It's cool. I like it. Shadows of Doubt. Cool game.